Have you ever felt like you're living in a vicious cycle where your worst habits trap you, no matter how hard you try to break free? As if an invisible force pulls you back into procrastination, into overindulgence, into inertia, while your dreams of personal success fade on the horizon? Absent reminders was a ritual, an act of pure intention at the exact moment of the trigger. I called it the echo of the new essence. My body and mind resisted. The old voice whispered, "It was luck. You'll fail. It's too hard." The craving returned, more intense. It was like a thick fog threatening to engulf me. I almost gave in. The old voice, that of self-sabotage, screamed deafeningly, "You're a failure. Give up everything." The day I always fully surrendered to procrastination, with the excuse of resting for the weekend. My most important project was pending, and the pressure was immense. The projects that once rotted in limbo are now vibrant realities. My health, my energy, my relationships, everything flourished. Shame was replaced by a quiet pride, anguish by a sense of purpose. I am no longer a prisoner, I am an architect. If you felt a shiver down your spine or a tear in your eye, it's because it needed to find you. Your transformation begins now. And the key? Those 7 days. That single technique. A power that was dormant within me, and that, I know, resides within you too. Personal success is not a distant destination. It's the natural consequence of becoming the person you were made to be. And this technique gives you the map. The urge to turn on the TV, order pizza, and disappear for hours was overwhelming. My fingers trembled as I reached for the remote. But then, almost like a conditioned reflex, I triggered the new identity signal. This time, the words weren't a struggle, but a powerful affirmation that echoed in every fiber of my being. I am a person of focus and action. I choose progress. I didn't just drop the remote. I got up and went straight to my desk. The craving didn't completely disappear, but it was suffocated by a new wave of determination. I worked with focus for 2 uninterrupted hours, completing a crucial part of my project. When the work was done, there was no guilt, just a quiet euphoria. I hadn't just avoided a habit. I had destroyed its power over me. I wasn't just doing things differently, I was different. Go back to the comfort of your addiction. The pain of temptation was almost physical. Most approaches to habit change focus on willpower, trying not to do something. That's exhausting and unsustainable. The echo of the new essence technique acts at the deepest level, your self-image. Your brain will always try to keep you consistent with the person you believe you are. If you see yourself as a procrastinator, it will lead you to procrastination. But when you, at the exact moment of the trigger, affirm and act from a new identity, you force your brain to create a new coherence. It's not just an action. It's a declaration of who you've become. That's why it's so powerful and so fast. It doesn't fight the habit. It replaces it with your new essence. A knot in my stomach, a burning in my mind. I collapsed to the floor, exhausted. Tears welled up. It was the moment of truth. It was the moment I always surrendered. My fingers trembled. My eyes sought the old refuge. But something different happened. At the peak of anguish, a small voice, a new voice whispered, "Who are you now?" And without thinking, I activated the echo of the new essence. With tears streaming down my face, I visualized myself, strong, resilient, overcoming the obstacle. I felt the resolve in my bones. And instead of falling into the old trap, I got up. I grabbed my notebook and wrote for hours, processing the pain, finding solutions. Not to escape, but to confront. The habit didn't drag me. I left it behind. And then I knew the technique wasn't just real. It was the key to my freedom. My feet led me to the place where I usually succumbed. But at the crucial moment, as my hand reached out for the habits trigger, the echo of the new essence came to mind. This time, with less drama, but with more conviction. I closed my eyes. I smelled the coffee I should have been drinking while working, not the odor of despair. I visualized the scene again. I put the trigger far away. It was a battle, but I won. The taste of victory, small as it was sweet. I began to understand. It wasn't about not falling, but about how I got back up. And this technique gave me the how. The precise instant the old craving for the bad habit emerged, That tingling in my stomach to grab my phone, the visualization became more vivid, the emotion of my future self more real. I realized I wasn't just stopping a habit, I was planting a new identity. My brain, once a slave to old patterns, was starting to align with the new person I was affirming myself to be. The cravings still emerged, but they were like receding waves, and I was the surfer, learning to ride the crest and not be dragged by the current. I was choosing who I was, every micro moment. The uncontrollable urge to open the fridge out of nowhere, the paralysis before an important task. I had to execute a specific, conscious and emotionally charged act that reaffirmed who I desired to be. It was an antidote, a brutal interruption of the neural pattern. I was at my breaking point. It was then, during a sleepless night, lost in an obscure forum about behavioral neuroscience, that I came across an almost heretical theory. It didn't speak of willpower, but of identity. It's not about breaking a habit, but about rewriting who you are. It seemed too good to be true. The logic behind it was relentless. A single technique, promising transformation in 7 days. At first I laughed. 7 days? My skepticism was a fortress. But hopelessness is a powerful driving force. I decided to give this theory a shot. I had nothing left to lose. I know that feeling. I know the pain of trying, failing, and ultimately giving up. But what if I told you there's a shortcut? My addiction, endless scrolling, the flood of useless information that killed my time and energy. The craving came strong. My hands itched. My eyes sought the screen. In that moment, I activated the echo of the new essence. I closed my eyes, took a deep breath, and visualized myself, the future and successful version, with a calm smile and focused eyes, masterfully finishing my work. I felt the sunlight hitting my face. Then I picked up my phone, not to use it, but to deliberately place it in the farthest drawer from my desk. I felt a strange sense of relief, like a muscle finally relaxing. It lasted minutes, but they were the first minutes of real freedom I'd felt in years. A single powerful technique capable of transforming your worst habits in just 7 days. Most people spend their lives fighting themselves, caught in this web. But if you're here, you're about to unveil the ultimate guide. Transform bad habits in 7 days with one powerful technique, and nothing will ever be the same. My life was a series of failed starts and restarts. My closet was full of self-help books, my mind of unapplied advice. With an untouched to-do list and my eyes burning from the screen, I looked at the keyboard and had a chilling epiphany. I was actively building my own prison. My life wasn't out of control. I was out of control. And the only person who could change that was ... trapped in a habit. I was the master of procrastination, putting off crucial tasks to dive into endless scrolling on social media. Every morning, I promised myself it would be different. That I'd eat better, exercise, focus on my most important project. But invariably, by nightfall, I'd find myself exhausted, frustrated, and consumed by guilt. That extra donut, the late-night binge-watching, the idle chatter that stole hours of work, they were like small, silent enemies, undermining my self-confidence and eroding any chance of real success. I felt trapped inside my own skin, a prisoner of my impulses, watching time slip through my fingers. The reflection in the mirror showed me not the person I wanted to be, but the shadow of what I could have been. That feeling of I'll never make it was a parasite, feeding on my vital energy. I remember one night, sitting in front of the computer at 3 a.m. I had tried everything: brute willpower, rewards and punishments. The technique was brutal in its simplicity and terrifying in its effectiveness. On day 1, I chose my biggest enemy: digital procrastination. Day 2 brought an excruciating headache. Days 3 and 4, the technique became a ritual. Every time the old programming tried to manifest, I activated the echo of the new essence. Days 5 and 6, hell opened. Stressful event, an unexpected failure at work threw me back to the edge of the abyss. The climax came on day 7. It was a Friday, my most dangerous day. What I discovered wasn't magic, but a brutally effective truth about how the brain works. My life today is living proof. Do you believe this truly happened? That a single technique can dismantle years of bad habits in just 7 days? Have you ever experienced a similar internal struggle? That feeling of being trapped in a cycle? If this video deeply touched you, subscribe to the channel. But only if you have the courage to transform your life forever, unveiling the power that exists within you.